What's going on Facebook Live? As I promised, I said I was going to go live around 6:30 and go ahead and speak on about Mr. George Floyd. It's a difficult thing to deal with, man. I've had to pray for strength all day long, y'all. All day long. And like I said, I didn't really sleep much last night because I know it was over 800 people that sent me that video. And I know I spent time being with family and friends. And I waited till I got home, till I got settled down, and I watched it before I went to bed. And that just totally ruined my day. Before I get started, guys, and some of you all are new to my page or whatnot, a lot of you all know me by now. I don't bite my tongue on anything. I do get a lot of trolls from time to time that think otherwise. They say, well, hey, Deputy Woodard, why aren't you outraged? You don't know if I'm outraged or not, because evidently I am. I'm very pissed off. Hey, Deputy Woodard, you got a platform. Why don't you use it and stop sitting on the fence and start, if they're going to do this to us, why don't you do that to them? I'm not that kind of person. I don't fight fire with fire, and I don't bring hate into my page. I don't fight people with hate. But you need to talk to some of your fellow officers or whatever and tell them to stop killing people. People don't understand. Every cop, every police officer does not know every police officer. I don't know any of those police officers up there in Minneapolis. Okay, I know police officers in my department, and we have a lot of good officers that I work with. I haven't seen them do anything wrong, and then they're getting blamed because just because of the color of their skin. Well, just like today, one of them came to me and said, Woodard, I heard what happened. I saw the video, but I didn't do anything like that, and people, are attacking me and stuff like that, man. And I even showed them some of the video that happened today, and they were disgusted by it. So, I know people say things like, well, you're probably one of the ones who just stand around and do nothing when you see your coworker doing wrong. I have some very good coworkers. I can't speak for other people in other departments, but I can speak for Brian Woodard. These words coming out of this mouth is not any other department out there. I'm only speaking for myself. I'm speaking for Brian Woodard. Now, some people might like what I have to say, and some people might not. They might not like it, and that's okay, because you have a choice to whether you want to stay or turn the page. Now, I watched that video of Gregory Floyd, and it is hurtful. He should still be alive today. He should still be alive today. There shouldn't be any reason in the world why his mother and his family should have to bury him, because he should still be alive. Yes, I'm saying it. And I'm not really hurt as a black man. I'm not hurt as a businessman. I'm not even hurt as a policeman. I'm hurt on the inside from what I saw as a human. Just like Gregory Floyd, just like Mr. George Floyd. Mr. Floyd was human. A human being whose life was taken senselessly. Now, on this page, I have a lot of joy. I have a lot of happiness. I like to build that bridge between the community and law enforcement. But it's so hard when you have these stupid cops that get out there and mess it up for all of us. Mess it up for the ones who are actually out here trying to work and provide for their families and do their job. I wrote some of these words down from what I heard in the video, and I thought about this all day, from the words that were coming out George Floyd's mouth. I'm about to die. There was a man in the audience on the curb that was saying, man, look, y'all don't handle him that way, because I had a friend of mine, he died just like that when the police was doing this to him and doing that to him. And Mr. Floyd said the same things. Well, I'm about to die the same. He said that. He also said, I can't breathe. My face. Just get up. I can't breathe. Please, your knee is in my neck. And then to hear a grown man, knowing that he's helpless, call for his mother. Mama, mama. And some of you ladies who have children, you know how hard it is when you know your child is in need or if they're hurt and they're calling your name, and sometimes you might not get to them right away. It does something to you on the inside. He also said, my stomach hurts, my neck hurts, everything hurts. Look at the video. These are the words that are coming out of this man's mouth on the ground. Please, please, officer. Please, please. I can't breathe, officer. I believe his last words were, I cannot breathe. Do you know how hard it is to try to continue to try to bring peace and love in a community when you still have a lot of rotten apples and bad apples? It is very hard. And I'm going to say it. Some people do not need to be in law enforcement. It's an embarrassment. But I'm not worried because God is going to deal with those. God is going to definitely deal with those. And then the crazy officer that's standing out there looking stupid in the middle of the street. Yes, I said it, looking stupid at the people. They're telling him, look what you're doing. You're hurting him. He can't breathe. And the thing that comes out of his mouth is, oh, well, that's what you shouldn't do. Don't do drugs. I don't care what kind of drugs this man was doing. I don't even know if he was actually on drugs or not. I don't care. But if he was on drugs, I don't care if he was doing crack. I don't care if he was shooting up. I don't care if he was even smoking weed or snorting cocaine. Does that mean that his life is worthless? No, it does not. Does that mean he's less of a person because he's made mistakes or he has something in the system? No, it does not. People act like they get so high and mighty that they forget where they come from. There's a lot of people who have crazy problems in their family too, like drug. I have them in my family. Do I have people who have smoked crack in my family? Yes, I have. Do I have people that smoke weed in my family? Yes, I have. Yes, I do. Do I have people who've had drug problems and alcohol problems or whatever problems? Yes, I'm saying that as also. I have that in my family as well too. But that does not mean that I sit there and I look down on them and thinking that their life is worthless and their life is lesser than life that I have. Like their life is more, like my life is more important than them. No. Who do some of these people think they are? When they get in some of these high positions and they think they're doing well and they're making money and they wear a badge and whatever the case might be, some people are wearing it the wrong reasons because they forget where they come from. Our job is to serve and protect the community. That's what we're supposed to do. And a lot of people that get in these offices or get in these positions, they forget that. They act like their life is just petty. I don't care what this man was on. They can say whatever. I don't care if they said he was on sandpaper. He was still loved by somebody. He was still loved by somebody, y'all. From what I saw and what I showed some of my officers that I'm friends with and that I work with, when they saw the video today, even of the opposite race, even the white, they said, that's just plain murder. Why would they do that? Yes, it is. Plain murder. Plain murder. What I saw in that video, guys, was disturbing. A lot of people don't know this, but coming up as a young teenager, I used to work in a funeral home. And thank you and kudos to John Beckwith, who owns the Golden Gate Funeral Home in Dallas, Texas. He took me up under his wing. And back when I used to work the morgue at a young age, I've seen people come in there all kinds of ways, cut up, shot up, dead, cancered out, whatever the case might be. That man's eyes got really big in that camera while he was laying on the ground, just like this, and then they relaxed. He died at the scene. He died at the scene. He took his last breath on Facebook Live. Could you imagine how his family feels if his family saw that? They saw it. And there's nothing they could do about it right then and there. Minutes went by. This officer still has his knee inside this man's neck. Do you know how hard concrete is in the street and you're putting your body weight on it? More time went by. He still has his still has his knee in this man's neck. The paramedics even get there. The paramedics get there. He still has his knee in this man's neck. You even see a paramedic come and check his pulse. The officer's foot or knee is still in this man's neck, y'all. The only time he gets up is when they pick up his lifeless body. Death had already settled in and taken over. And of course, none of those people out there were doctors, because anybody knows, even if you die at some scenes, you still get pronounced dead at the hospital. A doctor has to pronounce you dead. I saw death right there, because I've seen death at a young age and as a police officer. But I've seen it first when I was younger. I know how death looks in the face. And what's so disturbing about it is there are people that wanted to help. Don't get me wrong. People on the sidewalk tell, hey, look at them. They're telling this officer, and you still have your dumb behind with your knee in this guy's neck while he's lifeless on the ground. So already gone. Death is already taken over. But it's sad that people wanted to go ahead and help and they couldn't. They could not help because they were afraid. That officer took his mace out. Hey, get back there. It's just like a spider catching his lunch. You better not come near it, or a dog getting his lunch. If you come near what the dog already has in his mouth, guess what? He's going to growl at you. I've seen a lot of stuff on Facebook. I've seen a lot of stuff in the street. I've dealt with a lot of stuff throughout my whole life, but I have never seen something so heinous just like that. So demonic. And like I said, I don't care what that man has done. When you have your hands behind your back and your face down, ladies and gentlemen, you can pass out and not wake up. We learned that in the academy. It's called positional asphyxiation. Positional asphyxia. For those who are police officers on this page, corrections officer, especially corrections, jailers, people who's working prisons, prison guards, you all learned about positional asphyxiation because I taught it. I ran the academy when I worked for the state jail. I used to be a correctional officer as well. We had a whole course talking about positional asphyxiation. Because when you're face down and your arms are behind your back, your chest, your rib cage, your lungs need to expand so you can breathe. But by you being combined and bound and face down with your hands behind your back, it's hard to get oxygen. It's hard for your lungs to expand. So one thing that we've always learned, well, and I've learned it myself, if you ever get a criminal, if you catch him, if you put him down and handcuff him and he's detained, roll him over to his side so positional asphyxiation will not occur. It says the same thing. Every book, if you get into combat with somebody or a fight, when you take him to the ground and place him on the ground, place hand restraints on him, which are handcuffs, roll him over to his side so positional asphyxiation will not occur. Even if he's combative or he's fighting or whatever the case might be, if you have care, custody, and control of that person, he's already restrained, roll him over to his side or put him on his behind so positional asphyxiation will not occur. Look it up. That's something that you should know. That's something that those officers should have known. Positional asphyxiation, there it is right there, guys. Google it. Is a form of asphyxia which occurs when someone's position prevents the person from breathing adequately. Positional asphyxia may be a factor for people who die suddenly in a hogtie restraint, either by police or prisons or correctional officers, military or healthcare. That's one of the reasons why you don't see police officers and law enforcement agencies. Remember back in the day, they used to hog tie people, put their hands behind their back, and if they're combative, they tie their legs up behind their back with it too. You can't do that anymore because people kept passing away. It's called positional asphyxiation. Look it up. And the other part about it, you have officers there that know this. That makes it so bad for all of us. And you know this. And that crazy officer just standing there looking stupid knows this. And you think it's okay. It's not okay. All these officers out here trying their best to be all that they can be. And